Hey, church family. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to share a few thoughts with you on this Tuesday as we're walking through the last week of Jesus' life. And as we read through the Gospels and kind of look at Jesus' activities on that last Tuesday of his life, what we find is actually quite a bit of teaching. And so much of his teaching during that time really centered on repentance and getting right with God and the reality that we don't know when the end will come, and so we need to be ready. Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 24. In verse 36, he says, "No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come." A guy by the name of Terry Solwood was fishing off the coast of Australia, just like he'd done hundreds of times before, when something came out of nowhere and almost knocked him down. And when he turned to see what it was that hit his boat, he realized that it was a 7-foot, 440-pound great white shark that had actually jumped into his boat. I wonder at that point who was more surprised, the shark or Mr. Selwood himself. And so after radioing for help, he actually jumped overboard and hung onto the side of the boat until he was rescued. Evidently, he didn't think sharing a boat with a shark was a good idea. But I tell you that story to say that you never know when life will take an unexpected turn for the worst. And certainly these last few weeks have been a stark or a shark reality of that, or a reminder of that reality. Although most of us knew that reality long before this coronavirus pandemic. But it's just another reminder that this is a hard world that we live in, and bad things happen. But it's also another reminder of why people need Jesus and why we have to take every opportunity that we have to share his story with others. Maybe you've tried to talk to friends or family or neighbors before about Jesus, and maybe they just weren't really interested. Or maybe you yourself have heard about Jesus and you have some questions, but maybe he's just kind of been put on the back burner. Sometimes it takes something happening in our lives or in our world that makes us realize that we need something bigger than ourselves. Sometimes an event or a set of circumstances happens that leaves us desperate for answers. And sometimes the shark just jumps right into the boat, right? And we feel that in our lives. And it's in those moments and in those circumstances, maybe much like what we're going through right now, that we have an opportunity, maybe unlike any other, to share the good news of Jesus Christ. I'm reminded of a passage in James chapter 4 where he writes that you don't even know what will happen tomorrow. I mean, what is your life? He says, you are but a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. The reality is that none of us are promised tomorrow. And while I'm certain that one day Jesus will return, we don't know when that day or that hour will be, and we don't even know when we will take our last breath or which one will happen first. I know the reality is, though, that it's one of those two options. And so as Christians, we need to be ready. We need to live ready. And as 1 Peter chapter 3 talks about, we always need to be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks us, to give the reason for the hope that we have. Because our call is not only to be ready ourselves, but also to help others get ready by sharing the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. I hope you have a blessed day. God bless.